Hi guys, it's Nick here. I'm making a video where I'm going to be talking about 4 different resources that you can use to get far in the game relatively fast and relatively easily and make sure that you're at your best point, your fastest and strongest throughout the entirety of the game to make you as comfortable as possible. Now, we're going to start with a website called mapgenie. mapgenie has very many maps that you can use to track all sorts of things and find out where you're supposed to be going in a game. For instance, I used it to find out where all of the fast travel locations are, and as you can see, that has gone relatively well. I have found all of the fast travels. I just wanted to, in the early game, be able to get around. As soon as I got my flying mount, I started going pretty much everywhere and finding all the fast travel points so that I could move around as much as possible. And then I wanted to find all of the skill fruit trees. So this marks out where every skill fruit tree is, and every day I visit every one of them to get all of the skill fruits that I get. It's a very useful resource. It is completely free, but you can also pay money to be able to track what you have already found, which I am not currently using, but I do have access to. For this particular game, I don't really use it, but it is a great resource, and it's also relatively cheap. The second website will be genshinlab. genshinlab has a guide to Palworld in terms of the breeding combos and calculator, and you can find out what 2 things you need to combine to make anything you want in the game. For instance, the fastest uh, flying mount that I can use right now happens to be a Phalaris, which I have right here. Phalaris is a very speedy boy. I use him a lot. He can fly about this fast with the perks that I currently have on him. I do have Runner and Swift and Nimble on him, I believe. So he is quite fast, and I love him. I use him a lot. But I would have never known he existed if not for the Game 8 Palworld guides. You can use this in terms of your list of tiers they have. So let's see if I can find it. If you scroll down here, you have a list of all the work suitabilities as well as your PAL lists. And you can use this to find all of your exclusive pals, all of your alpha bosses, all of your legendary pals, and so on and so forth. But they also have a tier list, which I am sure I can just search for. Palworld Best Pals tier list. You can also do the best food tier list, best mining pals, so on and so forth. But for instance, the best flying mounts tier list is where I found the Phalaris. It is an S tier flying mount. It's only worse than the Jet Dragon, but I was completely fine with that because I can't use the Jet Dragon yet. I'm pretty sure it requires level 50 for its saddle, but before that I was using the Elsevier, which is a B rank flying mount. I had Swift on it. It was very fast. But this will allow you to view what you can currently use, and this will allow you to find out how to make it. So, for instance, Elsevier, right? So, Elsevier is a quite fast mount. I personally used a Suzaku and a Reptaro to make it, personally. But I'm sure you could use any list of things here. I happen to have a Reptaro and a Suzaku that both had Swift on it, which allowed me to make a fast one. And I used it for quite a while until I was able to level up enough to use a Phalaris, which yes, I use a Vanworm and an Anubis to make, and this can get you quite far quite fast. So, the next website would be Palpedia. Palpedia allows you to filter results and find out what things do what. For instance, right? If you want a PAL that has level 4 watering, you can find that the Yormantide has level 4 watering. In fact, it is the only thing that you can do. If you see that they level 3 watering, you can see that the Broncherry Aqua and the Azarobe also only water. This is great for making food on your base. So what you really want is a bunch of different things that can only do the one thing that you want. So for instance, Lylene has level 4 planting, but unfortunately she also has handiwork and gathering and medicine making. So if I wanted her to specifically be planting things, she won't always be planting. And there's nothing that I can do about that because she just has other things that she can do. So if I get level 3 planting, I have the Broncherry. The Broncherry will only ever plant. She is great for this. The Broncherry and the Broncherry Aqua and a, for instance, Grintail, which I know can only gather. If we go to level 2, the Grintail here can only gather. So there might be a better gatherer, I'm not sure. I definitely haven't found one. Oh, the Jet Dragon can also only gather, and the Frostellian Knot can also only gather. But those are much harder to get. The Grintail can be gotten pretty early on in the game, as it is a boss that is, I believe, level 17. So you can catch one of these relatively early on and put one at every one of your bases and use this in a Broncherry Aqua and in Azarobe, for instance, to make sure that all of your planting and gathering needs are covered so that your pals don't starve. And this is something that happens quite a bit, unfortunately. But you can also find out if there's any pals that specifically have level 4 handiwork, like the Anubis. The Anubis has level 4 handiwork and level 2 transporting and level 3 mining. As handiwork and transporting aren't as important as making sure that they have food so that they don't starve, it's fine that the Anubis can also do other things. So I personally use him a lot. I upgrade his handiwork so that he works on my different conveyor workbenches so that I can have multiple of them making things as fast as possible, because they build things much faster than you can, even if you level up your handiwork skill. And the handiwork skill takes so many points for how much it actually increases your handiwork. So I believe this is the equivalent of having like 400 or 500 handiwork. And I really don't want to waste that much HP that I could have in handiwork. Or, for instance, carry weight. I currently have 1,000 carry weight. Yes, I currently have 1,000 carry weight and 3,000 health and only 110 in attack and 150 stamina, but I really didn't need the stamina. I just use it for my own gain. I needed it a lot earlier on, but it's not as important now that I have flying mounts and mounts that can run. But just, these are 4 resources that you can use, especially early on in the game, or even the mid-to-late game, to find out, like, what you need to combine to make certain things, or just, in general, how to be the best at the game that you can be for your current level, what the best things that you can use are for your current level. And I've really enjoyed these resources. I've used them a lot. Highly recommend. I'll keep the links in the description. Have a great day.